for foreigners. This is for everyone. Every civilian, every non-combatant should leave Kiev as quickly as possible. And this is now circulating very widely on mobile phones, on WhatsApp messages. The Russian channel RT, their messages, it's all over the place. At the university, I spoke to several students who are trying to come, and they walked several kilometers, in some instances 5 to 10 kilometers to get to this place. Those who are living in the hostel and those who are living in civilian areas. No buses even today, no metro even today, because every metro shift is a bomb shelter. So people have walked, they're walking to stations like this with families. Their aim is to leave Kiev by sundown. The apprehension is, Shiv, later tonight, if these talks fail between Belarus, at the border between Belarus and Ukraine, talks from the Ukrainian side being headed by the defense minister, because the Ukrainian president has made it very clear he will not surrender, his country will not surrender. That means the offensive could intensify in the hours and days ahead. And should that intensification happen, then the Russians want to ensure that there are only military targets to take out here. So far, there have been very specialized operations that have been undertaken to target either the airfields or military installations. But from this point on, it may just be a free-for-all war zone to target and take down the adversary and the adversary's defenses. And that is why when you look around here, that's a bank, and that bank is packed to capacity, and people standing in long queues outside because they want to withdraw money. ATMs are now no longer working. The aim is to withdraw money as quickly as possible and get out of Kiev and get to safer areas, Shiv. It's a task that's easier said than done, giving long queues even outside railway stations here now.
Very, very ominous when Russia actually makes a call for an entire city to be emptied. I want to go across now to Sviatoslav Yurash. He's the youngest sitting member of parliament from Ukraine. He joins me live from the streets of Kiev. Yurash, good to see you. We spoke to you yesterday. You're now on the streets of Kiev, a city that Russia wants emptied as quickly as possible. I hear you're carrying your weapon and you're out there on the streets of Kiev. Yurash.
Yes, not on the streets of Kiev. Basically, I told you yesterday that we are going to the outskirts of town, fighting there. And the point is that basically when we are in Kiev, we're trying to help with supplies, transferring medical supplies, transferring weaponry, transferring vests, and trying to provide as much as possible to help defend the city to everybody that wants to defend the city. Again, this is a battle for our capital. I'm not going to just lay down our weapons and let them do as they wish.
Are you armed right now and you're headed towards the outskirts right now?
Yes. I will get some weapons for some people and then we'll go to the outskirts. Yes.
Are you holding your weapon right now? Sorry, I couldn't see it. I just wanted to see.
Yes. Sorry, this is.
Okay, let's go to Yurash full frame so we can see him with his weapon, because that's an image that is going to go out to the citizens of Ukraine as well. That's the youngest member of parliament of Ukraine holding his assault rifle, headed to the outskirts of Kiev. Yurash, the Russian government has sent out a call asking for Kiev to be emptied. They want Kiev to be completely evacuated. What do you think that means? That sounds pretty scary coming from an invading force. Why do they want everyone to get out of Kiev?
Russia and their requests can go to hell. Russia has one goal and one goal only: to destroy our nation, destroy our state. Those that want to evacuate are evacuating. I'm helping with that. I'm waiting here because I wait for my guys to return from evacuation of some women and some children at the moment to the train station. The point here is that men are staying and fighting, and I'm just waiting to give out some more weapons, some men that want to join the fight. Again, this is a fight for everybody. This is a fight for our very existence, and we have no other choice but to actually fight till the very end in this town, in this capital of ours.
The two countries, Ukraine and Russia, are currently holding peace talks. Not that there is very much hope, Yurash, of any kind of breakthrough. But what do you think about those talks? They've been on for about an hour and a half now on the Belarus and Ukraine border.
From the very beginning, Ukrainian president has stated time and time again the diplomatic solution is what we are aiming for. But again, Russia has not given that a chance. Russia has provided all the impetus to the world to see Russia what it is. It is pushing at us. It is pushing at every front line we have. every part of the border. And our job right now is to try and survive and therefore to win. We will work at every opportunity to get less bloodshed. But again, Russia is giving us a choice. So we are battling back.
Final question, Yurash, before you go off now. How far are Russian troops, when they've called for, Kiev to be emptied, how far away are they from Kiev? Because the sense is that the city is under siege. They've surrounded it in some manner, even though the Ukrainian military has fought them back. Can you give us a picture of the situation?
They haven't surrounded us fully. They certainly have control of the north out of town. They are trying to encircle the east. They landed in different parts of the west, and they try to make incursions in the south. But we are battling them back because we want to keep the supply lines open and to give us a chance to actually have prepared everybody for a full siege that they're trying to do. But again, there is no chance of that. No matter what Russians use, we will fight back. We will win. This is our country.
Yurash, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. Stay safe. I hope you don't need to fire that weapon that you're holding. You're 26-year-old, the youngest Ukrainian MP. You're ready? The fight back is on.
Thank you.
Let's see how this goes. Day 5 of this invasion. Thank you, Yurash, for being with us. Let's get you now. That image of him with his Kalashnikov rifle has, of course, also gone viral. How many young MPs from Ukraine have we seen all wielding their assault weapons as a kind of symbol and a message to Russia and to the world about what young members of parliament used to the high table of politics in Ukraine are now being compelled to do in defense of their motherland. Let's get you the most compelling, most dramatic and defining images on day 5 of this invasion that we've put together for you to paint a picture of where things are at. Here's image number 1. The first image is of a missile striking a residential building in Chernihiv, a city 150 kilometers north from Kiev, according to the state communication service. This was an attack on a building where 2 lower floors were set on fire. There's currently no information about casualties. These were nighttime images from late last night. Big defining image number 2, massive street fighting, heavy resistance in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine. Haunting images of not just military tanks rolling down the streets of one of the largest Ukrainian urban centers, but men in military uniform, the invaders, hanging Russian flags on administrative buildings in Donetsk. Defining image number 3. Dead bodies lying around on the streets of Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, a place where Indian students are situated. The battle for Kharkiv has been defined by heavy shelling by Russian forces, and the impact of this shelling is seen on the streets. What was once a bustling urban center now has dead bodies strewn everywhere around it. Kharkiv, remember, is a place of some of the most intense battling between the two countries. The next defining image that we have from day 5, a truly haunting selfie video from Bucha city, very close to capital Kyiv. The video shows what appears to be a resident filming the destruction with some vehicles still on fire. Bucha city is another part of Ukraine that's been pounded by the Russian forces for days on end. The next image is the definition, perhaps, of desperate times, calling for desperate measures. Citizens getting together to meet and make Molotov cocktails or petrol bombs in soft drink bottles. The Ukrainian government has asked its citizens to make these Molotov cocktails to use as a weapon to protect themselves against the invading force. One brewery in Ukraine has also joined in, not to make beer, but Molotov cocktails. Now, one of the most viral moments that India Today has encountered in the last 1 hour, and everybody's talking about this encounter, is the fact that a Chinese student we found on the streets of Kiev, not far from a building that was hit by a cruise missile, has actually asked for Indian help. The subtext is that the Chinese government has perhaps left its citizens in the lurch, but the Indian government and the embassy on the ground, particularly in Kyiv, has such a fabulous reputation for doing everything it possibly can to bring Indian students out that you've got even a Chinese student asking for the Indian government's help. Take a look.
I'm here with a Chinese student who's studying in Ukraine and is currently stuck in this conflict. We have seen interview of a lot of Indian students who are stuck here. Let's see how the Chinese students feel about it and what is their government doing about it. What's your name, please?
My name is Neo.
Neo, where are you from?
China.
Where in China?
Beijing.
He's from Beijing in China. And what are you studying here?
Piano, music.
He's studying piano, music here. And do you feel stuck here? You want to get out of Ukraine or you want to stay back here right now?
I don't know actually. I want to come back to China, but now it's not possible.
Why you think it's not possible to go out now?
Because now we don't have flight. It's so many super. Sometimes has some smaller war, so it's something dangerous.
So it's because of some kind of war going on. There's no flights. That's why you can't go. But you want to go back to China now, right?
Yeah.
And have you heard about Indian government is making such a big effort to take students by road to Romania and all?
Yes, I know it. I know yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yesterday, some Indian people to Poland.
Poland and Hungary and Romania, yes.
Yeah, I think it's.
So would you like your government to make a similar effort to take you out of Ukraine right now? Yes? And are you in touch with your embassy telling them that you want to get out, the Chinese embassy here?
Yeah, it's preparing.
Still preparing.
Yeah.
I'm here outside a supermarket where there's long queues of people all around waiting to find some groceries. Can you show around a little bit? Look, it's a long queue here of people showing to... Long queue of people standing outside for hours to get inside the supermarket. And here we talk to some Chinese students who also want to go back to their country. But unfortunately, so far, their government, unlike the Indian government, have not made any effort. Indian government is one of the best here, embassies and government, which is making so much efforts to get their students out. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today.
More defining images, positively inundated with images from the conflict areas of Ukraine where we have the maximum number of reporters. Here's another defining image that we've been getting. Unprecedented scenes witnessed by India Today reporter Rajesh Pawar in capital Kyiv. Local police seen apprehending an alleged invader. Ukraine believes Russian militia are trying to infiltrate civilian areas. Watch this dramatic moment.
And look at the reaction. This guy is a Russian militia, civilian Russian militia, and they pinned him on the ground. And look at the reaction of the press here. These are the journalists from almost 30 countries around me, and look how they're reacting. I put it again, the camera onto the crowd right now. Look at this. Thought this guy is a Russian militia, civilian Russian militia, and they pinned him on the ground. And look at the reaction of the press here. These are the journalists from almost 30 countries around me, and look how they're reacting. I put it again, the camera onto the...
The next defining image, India Today also went into the largest hospital in Kyiv. Chilling images of children injured in the crossfire. Ukraine claims that at least 14 kids have lost their lives so far, and at least 7 have been seriously wounded. India Today has also captured Ukrainian forces putting up anti-tank obstacles and concrete blocks in the city of Kyiv. Soldiers were also guarding an underpass. Citizens have been coming out in their droves to add to the defense effort.
In place, which will also serve as a kind of probably anti-tank obstacle. Tanks can't go over them. And this is in the middle of a normal highway here, normal main road in the middle of the Kyiv city. These are the soldiers guarding some kind of underpass here. This is on the main road in the middle of the road. I don't know what exactly they're doing, what happened here, but they are there.
The next defining image on day 5 of the invasion, an unexploded Russian warhead was spotted not just anywhere, but at a kindergarten school playground. That's the extent of the impact of the kind of firing that's been taking place there. Once again, the claims being made by the Ukrainian government. The next defining image, destruction after a night of heavy shelling and missile attacks in Ukraine's capital. The military and civilians furiously fighting back, several instances of damage in residential and civilian areas as we've captured first here on India Today. Now remember that India Today has the biggest team of reporters on the ground, and that's the reason why we're able to capture what's unfolding in Ukraine from day 1 to day 5 today better than anybody else, closer to what's happening than anybody else, no second-hand information. Unprecedented scenes on the streets of Kiev with curfew being lifted. Take a look at this report.
Probably anti-tank obstacle. Tanks can't go over them. And this is in the middle of a normal highway here, normal main road in the middle of the Kiev city. These are the soldiers guarding some kind of underpass here. This is on the main road in the middle of the road. I don't know what exactly they're doing, what happened here, but they are there. This is like in the middle of the road, what these people have done. This is a residential block almost in the center of the Kiev city, which has been hit by a missile day before yesterday night. And this is next to a big supermarket here, on the biggest in Ukraine, Novus, and see the queue. Queues are starting from there all the way. They're going, this is the same queue going around, then taking a circle here and people standing here. It's a continuation of same queue here, same queue continuing till here. So probably around 500 people in the queue, and if you stand in the queue right now, probably you'll get the opportunity to go inside the supermarket if it is still open, probably after 4 to 5 hours. And this supermarket is just next to this building, which was hit by a missile day before yesterday night. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today from Kiev.
Now, one of the things that the Ukrainian government has been talking about since the last 3 days is that a certain Russian militia has been trying to infiltrate Ukraine using special operations tactics, dressed as Ukrainians in order to, maybe sabotage certain sites. India Today's cameras happened to capture one such interception. Take a look at this.
The middle of the Kiev city.
I'm taking this straight across to Rajesh Pawar, who's reporting right now from the capital of Kiev. Rajesh, we're hearing that things are slightly better today when compared to the last few days. Tell us what's happening on the ground.
All right, I'll come to the situation on ground a little later. I want you to show the viewers what is behind me. If you can see me, if you can see there, these are all the foreign journalists from almost 25 to 30 countries, which have been brought here in 4 different buses by the Ministry of Defense to show them the city around and to show them certain locations like hospitals where people are admitted, children are admitted. If you can see, can you see the things behind?
Yeah, we can see.
These are all the journalists from different countries, and now they're running for something. Something is there. I'll just put you there. We have a control level. This is live right now.
Are those protests, Rajesh? Are those people who gathered there?
Can you see this that I'm showing right now?
Yes, we can. We can. Just run us through what's happening.
See this guy.
Y es la policía acaba de hacer un control y acaba de detener con armas en sus manos a un grupo de personas. No sabemos qué es lo que empujó a esta situación. Lo que sí sabemos es que la policía acaba de hacer un control y acaba de
Could you see this? Could you take it on video?
Yeah, we got all of that. We got all of it live, Rajesh, here on India Today.
Look at this, the crowd of foreign journalists, everybody crowded around. They thought this guy is a Russian militia, civilian Russian militia, and they pinned him on the ground. And look at the reaction of the press here. These are the journalists from almost 30 countries around me, and look how they're reacting. I put it again, the camera onto the crowd right now. Okay. Look at this.
So they've gathered there in huge numbers. Rajesh telling us that these are about 25 to 30 foreign journalists who've gathered. Rajesh, what
I will talk a minute later. Just have a look, please. Have a look.
Yeah. Is that some sort of an altercation, Rajesh, that's playing out there?
Отходим, я сказал. Okay, okay. Отходим. All right. I hope you're getting the video correctly. Is it
We are. Rajesh, we'd appreciate it. I understand how things are right now, but we'd appreciate if you could talk us through also what's happening as you get us these live images.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, and this is a great look at the media, how the media from the world media, how they are, for them this is a very important bite because they found a car which they thought is of Russian people or maybe Russian militia, as I said, and they pinned them on the ground immediately, and there's a big chaos here. If you see a police car, the row of police cars in the background here, and this is all media people around here. And the police trying to put them onto one side, not letting them to be on the road.
And I saw a car that they gathered around. What happened there, Rajesh? They gathered around a car as well that we saw cops
Come
around.
back to the commentary. Can you just focus on the video right now, please? I'll take a minute because I'm recording from my phone.
Sure. Okay, yeah, we can see what you're showing us, so continue doing that for us.
In a second, I will tell you what is happening actually, but just want to show your viewers what is happening on the ground here right now.
Yeah, please do. We'll keep showing that live images that Rajesh is putting out right now. What Rajesh is showing us is from Kyiv, where foreign journalists have gathered. About 30 of these journalists are around him, and you can see a lot of cops, a lot of police present there, trying to ensure that everyone is dispersed, staying away from the roads. Rajesh also telling us that they had stopped a car which they thought to be part of Russia militia and tried to pull down the person and pin him down. So the journalists gathered there, and that's what Rajesh is showing us right now. He's recording these images, so just give us a few seconds. After that, he will also describe in great detail from the ground exactly what's playing out.
Every car is being checked. Every person is being checked. Every car is being checked.
Yes.
Every people's, even if there's no curfew, people just can't move around like this.
After that particular report, Rajesh also visited a children's hospital in Kyiv. Remember, the Ukrainian government has said that as many as 14 children have lost their lives in Russian firing so far. Take a look at this report.
Для того, чтобы пройти этот сложный путь. Todos los ucranianos, incluidos los médicos y los pacientes, nos hemos unido para superar este arduo camino. И я хочу сказать, что несмотря на то, что мы постоянно находимся в убежище.
This was main surgeon here in the children's hospital, and she was telling about the kind of injuries to children coming to this hospital and how they are coping up with the situation. This is Rajesh Pawar for India Today from Kyiv. I'm inside the children's ward here, in the children's ward of the hospital here. There are not enough beds, the children on the ground, if you see there. Everywhere children are full, and this is the basement where in case this is the basement of the hospital where they'll be shifted in case of an air attack. In fact, most of children have already been shifted here.
So these are the two cities that are currently apparently under siege. A battle is raging in Kharkiv, but the fight for Kiev is still currently very much on. What's next? What is the scale of the destruction? I'm going to show you when you come back.
Crypto Watch brought to you by BitBNS.
The country's biggest assembly elections, the most expensive democratic exercise. The results of which possibly could impact on how India votes in 2024. The numbers. the issues, the real ground picture. Catch all the buzz from two states, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh, right here with me on my election dispatch.
Rahul Kanwar, 23 years of experience, 5 conflicts covered, unmatched time in war zone.
The first embedded operation in the history of Indian television journalism.
Gaurav Sawant, 28 years of reporting, 8 conflicts covered, unmatched hours in conflict areas.
Actual firing is taking place, the grads are firing.
Shivarur, 19 years of reporting, 5 conflicts covered, unmatched view of international crossfires.
And the attack guns are firing away.
Geeta Mohan, 18 years of reporting, 3 conflicts covered. When the world is at war, there is no compromise on India today.
watching India.
Now we're on day 5 of President Putin's invasion of Ukraine. A quick reminder of where things are at, how it began and where things are at right now. Remember, it started last Thursday, February the 24th, early in the morning. That's when Russia declared this full-scale invasion of Ukraine. February 25th is when Russia captured the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. They surrounded it with their tanks. That was the big action on the next day. February 26th, missile attacks began on the capital city of Kyiv and the second largest city of Kharkiv, where I'm going to take you in just a moment. On February the 27th, Putin put his nuclear deterrent forces on totally high alert. And finally, February 28th is when the crucial talks are now underway between, as we bring you this broadcast, in fact, between Russia and Ukraine on the Belarusian and Ukrainian, on the Ukrainian border is where those talks are actually happening at this time. I want to now tell you what's happening in Kharkiv. It happens to be the second largest city of Ukraine, but that is where some of the worst fighting and the worst violence has actually taken place. Let's show you some of those images and tell you what it actually looks like. Before that, give you a sense on the map of where Kharkiv is. Remember, this is Kyiv. This is the national capital of Ukraine. Somewhere around here on the Belarus and Ukraine border is where the talks are taking place, and this is Kharkiv. So it's due east about 300 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, from Kyiv is where Kharkiv is. Let's show you pictures of what's happening in Kharkiv right now. The city has witnessed fresh overnight shelling by troops from Russia with missiles, rockets and artillery shells. Blasts were also heard in the city of Kyiv and Kharkiv early this morning. Ukraine's State Service of Special Communications and Information Protection has reported very intense fighting here. The Indian Embassy has corroborated that. The city has worn a devastated look in images accessed earlier today. Several Ukrainian civilians were reported killed in massive firefighting overnight. Ukraine admits that at least 352 nationals, including service personnel, have been killed and over 1,600 have been injured. Kyiv also says that its forces have killed over 4,500 Russian soldiers. These are massive claims to make, and they remain in the realm of claims with no corroborations of any kind so far. I want to take you back to Rajesh Pawar, who's live with us from Kyiv. He's been reporting on everything that's been happening in the city since curfew was lifted. Rajesh, you've been up close with areas that have been damaged, in missile fire since the last few days. Where are things at right now? All eyes are on those peace talks as well. But what's happening in Kyiv right now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rajesh.
Just give me a second. Let me probably, there's the call also on. Just give me a second. Let me disconnect it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Rajesh. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to show you around. I'm right now in Maidan at the Independence Square, the nerve center of political activity, of nationalism, of patriotism in Kyiv. I'm right now there. If you could see behind me is the Independence Square. I've just come back after a conducted tour of journalists by the Ukrainian government. We saw 2 bomb sites, a place where an apartment block has been bombed, and second place, again, a residential area which was bombed. Do you hear me clearly, please?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Rajesh. If I can't hear you, I'll tell you. Go ahead. Keep going.
So, as far as talks are concerned, as I had predicted yesterday, and I was very certain about this, these talks will fail. And not only me, the people in Ukraine, people in Kyiv knew this, that these talks are mere formality, because none of the side wants to be seen as someone who is running away from peace. And the moment these talks fail tonight, Kyiv is expecting a huge invasion, a huge burst of missiles, rockets, whatever Russia has got. Its might will be unleashed over Kyiv tonight if the talks fail. And that is what everyone is expecting, and that's what I expect. Over to you.
Talking about this massive attack on Kyiv expected later tonight or overnight as well. We've been seeing many of the missile attacks and rocket attacks also taking place overnight. So you're saying, Rajesh, if I'm not mistaken, that a big attack could be happening tonight?
Shiv, I'm so sorry. I can't hear you properly because I believe that there are 2 connections on at the same time.
You're talking about a possible big attack on Kyiv, Rajesh. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I am expecting a huge assault tonight, maybe an air assault over Kyiv, and Kyiv is preparing for that. There have been huge concrete blocks placed by the Ukrainian military on the roads everywhere to deny use of these roads to the Russian armored personnel carriers, to tanks. They cannot go over them, and they've been placed all over the city. Trenches are being dug all around the city right now when we talk. These are all indication that something big is expected, and these talks, in my opinion, will certainly fail, and it is a matter of 1 hour. We will know the outcome of this, and the outcome, if negative, then it's not a good news for the residents of Kyiv tonight. Over to you.
What kind of attack will it be, Rajesh? Last question before I let you go. Will it be with tanks? What are you expecting?
I can talk for another 5-7 minutes. I'm out now.
Yeah.
See, the attack will primarily be missiles. Primarily will be cruise missiles, which are very accurate in hitting the targets, and mostly it will be strategic sites and military sites which will be hit tonight. And besides, there are special forces which are lying low. The reason why everybody is being checked, if you saw that video in the afternoon which I sent, when these people just pinned down 3 people from the car on the road, the police, they are expecting a lot of agents of Russian special forces, people who are sympathizers, people who are helping, people who are probably passing on information all over Kyiv right now. And there are a lot of special forces people who are right now inside Kyiv. And if I can turn my camera around, I can show you the Russian military here on the road at the center. Should I turn it around right now?
Yes, sure, absolutely. Yeah, we see that, Rajesh.
Journalists, the journalists who are here, and then on there, it seems to be some kind of important person. Who is he? I can't say. But these people are there, guarding him there right now. Some kind of a VIP who's there inside. I don't know who is it. But the people just came, and this all armed guards just surrounding his car from all directions. And this is the center of Kyiv. This is Maidan, Independence Square right now, where we are.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it there for the moment, Rajesh. You're saying that a massive possible attack on Kyiv could take place later tonight. That's an ominous prophecy. I hope somehow that doesn't come true. But with everything we've been seeing so far, including the latest, which is that Russia has asked for a full evacuation of Kyiv at the earliest, rings a very ominous note right now. Could this be a big storming attack or a big assault operation on Kyiv to bring it finally to its knees? This entire invasion by day 5 has slowed down in many ways. Perhaps the objectives have not been reached despite a large amount of force. Have things been miscalculated and underestimated by President Putin? We don't know. But at this time, even as Russia could be planning a big attack on the capital city of Kyiv, take a look at the kinds of weapons that have flowed in over the last 48 hours into Ukraine from neighboring countries. At least 2,000 anti-tank weapons called N-Law have come in from the United Kingdom. $48,000 per single shot unit. Anti-tank weapons called N-Law from the United Kingdom have come in. It's launched off the shoulder of soldiers, can be fired from very confined spaces. This is also because Ukraine is expecting a lot of guerrilla-style urban warfare, perhaps going into the final confrontation with Russian soldiers. Also, 152 mm artillery ammunition has been sent to Ukraine from the Czech Republic. Nearly $1,000 per round, we are told, provides fire support for armor and infantry forces. A lot of artillery shelling that's taken place as well. The other weapon that's coming in large numbers is the Javelin anti-tank missile. It's a very advanced guided anti-tank missile that's manufactured by the United States. Ukraine already has quite a few of them, but more are apparently coming in. They have infrared systems to lock onto targets, can be used at pretty good distances day and night. They've got a top-down attack mode in which the firing soldier can view his target before it actually hits, used in the Glukov area of Ukraine. So these have been quite widely already deployed among Ukraine's military forces. Apart from that, you've also got Stinger missiles, the famous Stinger missiles. These are shoulder-fired missiles sent by Latvia and Lithuania, originally Americans. They are $130,000 per unit. These are shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles. Because of the air power threat from Russia, many of these missiles will perhaps be useful to the Ukrainians. They've been asking for more and more Stinger, and Stingers are being now sent by Lithuania, Latvia, as well as Germany. Apart from Stinger missiles, and remember, Ukraine's been asking for every kind of thing. The Bayraktar TB2 drones. These are combat drones manufactured by Turkey, and several batches have, we are told, already been sent by Turkey. 5 million apiece. very capable, not very high maintenance, capable of top-down attacks on tanks and bunkers. The big video of a combat drone in action earlier today could possibly have been one of these in action. We're not sure yet, but remember the big war recently between Armenia and Azerbaijan also saw this particular combat drone deployed in very large numbers. We're going to wrap up 5 p.m. now, but remember a possible big imminent attack on Kiev with the Battle of Kharkiv continuing to rage will be our top focus. Rahul Kamal takes over on the other side. We get you the big images, the big updates, and we have a news break from Kiev on the other side. Stay with India Today, non-stop coverage, day 5 of the invasion of Ukraine.
Crypto Watch brought to you by BitBNS.
As Russia declared war on Ukraine, as the world was plunged again into crisis, with the only Indian team in the real war zone.
Police vehicles this is Mariupol. You hear a series. Hear the sound.
I will show you a quick, so to say, bombshell room tour.
I can smell the gunpowder in the air.
And without pause, India Today totally dominates viewership and smashes the competition. When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism. When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism.
You are watching India Today.
Down on many questions that a lot of people are asking on various aspects to do with Ukraine-Russia crisis. Let's begin with one on the top of the list. That is Russian President Vladimir Putin going to invade or annex Ukraine? Well, there is a bit of a background to it. Let's start by looking at the map. The map of Ukraine over here with all the borders clearly spell out that the bordering countries on the western side of Ukraine are all NATO member states. Russia does not want Ukraine to be a NATO member, and that's the only demand, the one key demand which is non-negotiable. Why is that? Because Russia thinks that a country like Ukraine can act as buffer between